LSU's Les Miles has arrived at the Swamp. He has a 5-0 team, but unbeaten hasn't come without criticism. The Tigers' offense has struggled. Quarterback Jordan Jefferson will get another chance. Yet many think Jarrett Lee's passing is the answer. They'll both be tested by Urban Meyer's Florida Gators. The two-time national title-winning coach is looking for a bounce-back win. Two tradition-rich programs are still on course to play for it all with a win tonight. This is the SEC on ESPN. We welcome you to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. There are few scenes that can compare to this. Florida's Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Under the lights for a key SEC showdown. Number 12 comes in unbeaten to face the 14th ranked Gators, who are coming off their lone loss. Of course, the man of the day in college ball is the head ball coach. In '66, he took the Heisman here today. He pulled off the big upset of Alabama. And a look at the conference standings, and you can see why Florida is still very much in play. Wide open now that Bama has lost. Florida can get to the conference title game if they stay the course. Of course, LSU, a big opportunity as well in the West. We have late-breaking injury news. Let's get down to the field and Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, throughout the course of this week, there have been questions about the health of quarterback for Florida, John Brantley. He suffered a rib injury against Alabama last week. Now, normally we're allowed to go to practice Thursday. We weren't able to go to see how much he practiced, but Urban Meyer told us he was very limited in what he was able to do. But now we're learning that there may be more than just the ribs to be concerned about. When he came out today for pregame warm-up, he's got his thumb on his throwing hand taped. Now, he didn't appear to be in any discomfort during warm-ups. He went through his normal warm-ups, but at this point, we don't know just how injured John Brantley is and how much he'll be able to play tonight, guys. As a backup, though, they have two other guys that they've given reps to this week, so we'll see how he can go.
All right, Holly, thanks for the report. Alongside Todd Blackledge, I'm Joe Tessitore. What do you think this is going to make for tonight?
Well, it could be a problem because the best thing that John Brantley does is throw the football. Now, I watched him in warm-ups. It didn't seem to be an issue. The problem could be if he gets it banged at any point in the game. How does he respond to that?
Now, on the other side, LSU is 5-0, but a lot of doubters based on that controversial win last week and quarterback concerns for them.
Well, they played two quarterbacks, and it worked because 434 yards was the best offensive output of the season. They'll play him again tonight. It's a matter of who takes care of the football.
And the Gators come out, a team that Urban Meyer says responded very well in practice this week. Florida has won 12 straight home games. Of course, LSU brings the #1 SEC defense to the Swamp. Last year, they had a 5-0 team just like this year, and Florida handed them their first loss of the year. Last time they moved their mark to 6-0, they went on to win the national title. When we come back, one columnist called it musical chair ineptitude. We'll discuss LSU's time crunch ending against Tennessee. Kickoff when we return to Gainesville. Tigers, Gators, this is the SEC on ESPN.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Carnival. Fun for all for fun. The Principal Financial Group. It's time to rebuild your financial future. And AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T. Rethink possible.
Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, 132 straight sellouts dating back to '89. Les Miles, what a week he has had. The crazed and confused ending against Tennessee. Clock hit 0, but Tennessee, the penalty for too many players on the field, and then the firestorm that started up, Todd.
Well, it's been a crazy week, and it's so strange for me because I did the LSU game last year right after the debacle at the end of the Ole Miss game, and A lot of people assumed the clock management problems would have been solved from one year to the next, but they were right back in that situation. But what gets lost in all of that for Les Miles and the LSU team was they had a tremendous drive. Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator, had Jarrett Lee on the field. They went 16 plays, 69 yards. They converted a 3rd and 13 and a 4th and 9 and put themselves in position to win the game. And all that started with a key 4th down stop by the defense. But everything kind of boils down to that last play, or the last play that set up the win. But it was a strange ending to the game, but it was a win. Let's not forget that. They're 5-0, and at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Undoubtedly. Hard to believe some of the things that have been said this week about a coach that is 5-0 and has won a national title in recent years, but such is the spotlight in the hot flame of SEC football. Florida won the toss. They deferred. LSU will receive. And back deep will be the very dangerous Patrick Peterson and Ron Brooks. Brad Phillips will be kicking off for the Gators. And there is Peterson, a long shot Heisman hopeful. Peterson from the 5. And he's able to get it out to the 33. Tackled by Brandon Hicks on special teams for the Gators. And Todd, last week, opening play for Jordan Jefferson. Yeah. 83-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I'm sure Les Miles and Gary Croton would love to see that again. It was just a quarterback run. It wasn't an option. It was a designed run, and he split through the secondary and was gone. He is more of the running threat. Jarrett Lee, more of the drop-back passing threat.
High formation with Ridley. Randall in motion. And here is Ridley. Out to the 38. Let's take a look at the skill position players for the Tigers. And you just saw Stephen Ridley, and he comes into this week #1 in the SEC in rushing. Russell Shepard, he's a threat always, a real game breaker. Up front, a familiar name at right guard, Hebert. T-Bob Hebert, the son of Bobby Hebert, the longtime NFL quarterback. And the flag comes in.
Well, Alex Hurst, the right tackle, moved, but the question is, did he move in response to the defense?
Offside, number 6 on the defense, in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It was indeed Jay Howard, 300-pound defensive tackle.
Well, that 6 looks really small on a 300-pound body, too, doesn't it?
It did. He wore 62 last week to honor a fallen friend, but back to 6 this week.
Correction, there is a 1st down on the play. 1st and 10.
So they move the chains after the penalty.
Last week, LSU started with Jefferson, and it was the 3rd series when Jarrett Lee entered the game, and then it was kind of back and forth for the rest of the time. I think we'll probably see a similar pattern tonight for the Tigers.
Shepard now in the backfield with Jefferson. And Shepard gets the call. Tries to get to the edge, but he's unable to get to the original line of scrimmage. And a look at that Gators defense, clad in orange tonight. And up front, watch out for the very active Duke Lemons. The linebackers are led by the steady senior leadership of A.J. Jones, a veteran guy in control. And in the backfield, they rave about Ahmad Black, a small guy, but he plays big. So a loss of 1 on the carry by Shepard. Ridley right into the heart of that defense, and it was Duke Lemons who got the stop.
This is where Jordan Jefferson has to be smart. You know, if you know as a quarterback that you're not going to play the whole game and you're going to be in and out, the pressure that you feel sometimes is that I've got to make a big play every big situation. And he can't do that. It's more important that he takes care of the ball and manages the game than make big plays every time.
Empty backfield for Jefferson here on 3rd and 9. Has time downfield, and that is complete. Peterson, his big tight end, D'Angelo Peterson. So a confidence-building start for Jordan Jefferson.
A beautiful throw by Jefferson because he had to put a little air under this to get it over the linebacker. Watch this throw. He's going to get it right over the head of the middle linebacker, Jonathan Bostic, right into the hands of his tight end. That is a beautiful touch throw down the middle of the field. Actually, Bostic did get a little tip on it, but not enough to affect the play.
Shepard nowhere to go as Jay Howard smothered him.
I don't know if that was a read play for Jordan Jefferson or not, but that's one that he has to keep. I mean, they chased that play down, and the running back had no chance, but Jordan Jefferson had some grass in front of him to the left side. He's got to take note of that. If they're going to overplay the run, that's when he has to make himself known as a runner.
4.5 tackles for loss now for Howard, leads the team. Second and 16, going to keep it himself. And straight up the middle goes Jefferson, 3 yards past the original line of scrimmage. Bostic made the tackle.
I think Gary Croton saw the same thing. If they're going to overplay the run to Shepard, then the quarterback has to keep. Now, it wasn't as big of a hole, but it was still a good positive gain, and a nice job by Jefferson just going north and south and getting him into a manageable 3rd down play.
Really what he does best. Last week struggled with the passing game. Had that 26-yard reception to put them in position here. Now facing a 3rd and 7. Double pumps and then overthrows the intended target, Ruben Randall.
Florida came with some pressure trying to knock LSU back out of field goal range with a sack. Jefferson was able to get rid of the football and at least give them a chance to get on the scoreboard first.
So on comes Josh Jasper, career leader for LSU in field goal percentage. This from 44. Right down the middle. So the reception to Peterson from Jefferson sets up the field goal by Jasper. Tigers strike first. We'll see what John Brantley can offer up when we return. Urban Meyer knows what this series means facing LSU. 6th straight season, both teams have met up ranked in the top 15. Struck first. 44-yard field goal. Now Clark and DeBose back deep for Florida. DeBose late to get a handle on it, and then goes down just over the 5-yard line. So a special teams miscue for the Gators.
And that's huge in this game. With 2 defenses as good as we have, field position and special teams play become very, very critical. LSU had a good kickoff return to start the game. That's a poor kickoff return for Florida.
So the junior John Brantley, who you probably heard all week long about the sore ribs, injured against Alabama, and now Holly reports earlier dealing with a bad thumb.
Right away under center with John Brantley, not the shotgun.
Emmanuel Moody. Just a gain of a couple for Moody, as we will introduce you to the Florida offense. A group of receivers yet to really break through. Jordan Reed is one to watch, the freshman from New London, Connecticut. He may play some wildcat option quarterback. Up front, Mike Pouncey, the brother of Marquise, the 1st-round pick, struggling with the snaps this year. Big story in week 1. It has continued a bit.
Marius Hines early off the start there is going to back him up a little bit more here. Not the way Florida wanted to start offensively.
Before the snap, false start, number 82 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Remains second down.
Moody remains the lone back as Brantley checks at the line. Pressure right up the middle. And he goes down. A penalty marker comes down as he struggles for yardage. We'll see what the call is as Drake Nevis just blew that entire play up.
Well, they tried to cut him off with Jalapeno, the guard. It wasn't the center, Pouncey, who tried to block him. The guard tried to cut him off and missed him completely.
Drake Nevis is an absolute monster in the interior of that defensive line.
Personal foul, face mask, number 92 on the defense, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
So it goes to what could have been something big for LSU, if not a safety, to going the other way on the 15-yarder.
What a break for Florida, because Drake Nevis made a wonderful play. Just beat the guard. Watch him slip inside the right guard and just got his left hand on the face mask on the way down. Obviously inadvertent, but a huge break for the Gators.
Ball came loose there. You saw Moody pick it up. Penalty markers were already flying in at that point. Inside handoff now. And it was Nevis.
This ball may...
Now the officials are signaling there at the 18-yard line.
Okay. Well, right away you see that this LSU defense feels confident playing against Florida's offense. Whether John Brantley is healthy or not, they feel like they can match up and play, especially at the line of scrimmage, and they've shown that already.
Here's Moody. And just a gain of about 2, and you see how active that front of LSU is. Here's a look at that Tigers defense. They lead the conference in total defense. Nevis has already made a statement early on here. Kelvin Shepard can run sideline to sideline. He leads the team in tackles, and in the backfield, one of the best in college football, Patrick Peterson. Out of the gun on 3rd and 9. Brantley has time and gets it complete for a first down. Close to the 44-yard line is Carl Moore, the big 6'4" target.
Well, this is wonderful pass protection against a 4-man rush, because Carl Moore came from the right numbers all the way to the left side of the formation, and Brantley was able to stay in there and make the throw to the other side of the field. And that's what Carl Moore does. That's 9 catches in a row for him that has either converted a 3rd down or a 4th down. When it's a clutch down situation, Carl Moore is pretty good.
And all of his receptions against Kentucky, Tennessee, and Alabama moved the chains on 3rd or 4th down. Impressive. Mr. Clutch for Brantley.
Timeout, Florida. That's their first timeout of the half.
So after the 24-yard reception on 3rd and 9, we take a break. LSU up 3-0.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Joe Tessitore, Todd Blackledge with you here in Gainesville. We are yet to see the leading rusher for Florida, Jeff Demps. Holly, what can you tell us?
Well, guys, he's here on the sideline. He's available to play, but a sprained right foot has kept him out. He looked good in pregame warmups, but we haven't seen him in the game yet. It's a huge deal because he averages 7 yards a carry, where Emmanuel Moody, who we've seen so far, just 3 yards a carry, guys. I'll let you know if he can come in.
Todd Demps is a difference maker.
He is. He's their home run guy, but he was not 100% last week in Tuscaloosa either.
Play action, Brantley gets it to the other quarterback, Trey Burton. And by the way, ESPN's Joe Shad is now reporting that the injuries to Brantley include 4 cracked ribs and a broken thumb. Holly was quick to notice that in pregame, taped up. So Brantley trying to really get through some pain here tonight.
Well, if we don't know anything else about him, he's a tough kid.
No doubt
Those
about
injuries
that.
are that serious. He's tough.
Gillislee. And tracked down by Kelvin Shepard.
You know, it's interesting because I asked him in our meeting with him the other day, what are some of the things you learned from Tim Tebow? What'd you take away? He mentioned his leadership. He mentioned how he handled himself and prepared. And he mentioned his toughness. What he saw him have to play through and go through to keep on playing. And obviously, he's showing a little bit of that tonight.
Says he talks to Tebow quite a bit. Tebow trying to encourage him to make your voice heard out there a few times a game. 3rd and 7 now for the junior.
I would expect LSU to bring pressure.
Boy, we've had a lot of movement, a lot of confusion up front early on here.
Before the snap, false start, number 74 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
That'll back him up. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Randy Moss back with the Vikings. Brett Favre and Moss in New York to take on the Jets. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's.
LSU leads the SEC with 16 sacks. The last 3rd down, they didn't get to him with a 4-man rush. Let's see if they bring more than 4 on this 3rd down play.
A little bit of pressure. And that falls incomplete as he was trying to get it to Andre DeBose, who had lined up in the backfield. A flag comes down.
I think that was Tyrann Mathieu, number 14, who got his hand on the football, went airborne.
And that's against Florida.
Personal foul. Now, is that a dead ball? Will they move it back, or was it during the play?
Boy, referee Steve Shaw has already earned his paycheck here in this first quarter, hasn't he, Todd?
They did come with the pressure from the left side, and Tyrann Mathieu, number 14, is the guy who got his hand on the ball, and then they just pile drove him at the end of the play. They were mad that he got his hand on the ball, and they took it out on him.
During the play, personal foul, number 76 on the offense. That penalty will be declined. It'll be 4th down.
So 4th down makes for an interesting situation because since 05, Florida's given up the fewest punt return yards in the country. And now Chaz Henry will be punting to Patrick Peterson, perhaps the most dangerous special teams player in all of college football. Remember, he had the 2 punt return touchdowns this year, one against North Carolina, the other 60-yarder against West Virginia. Gonna let this go into the end zone. So that duel will have to wait for later. Of course, Peterson, and he's talking about him as a long shot Heisman candidate. Defensive coordinator John Chavis said the best ball skills I have ever seen when he met with us yesterday.
Well, he has the great ball skills, and he's a big physical guy playing the cornerback position. He's 225 pounds, and obviously he can run, but he's very physical when he plays bump and run man-to-man coverage. That's why he's such a lockdown corner, as much as anything, is because of his strength.
True freshman Alfred Blue now comes in at running back for LSU. Blue dives ahead. There's Jelani Jenkins who got to Blue.
The reason that Jordan Jefferson, even though he's struggling throwing the football, is still a valuable weapon for this LSU offense is because of his ability to run. And just the threat of him pulling that ball and getting to the outside makes a Florida defense play honest. And that opens up running lanes because the quarterback is a definite threat to keep it and make a play on the perimeter.
One of the reasons why Ridley's had a lot of success. And now Russell Shepard in the backfield. Jefferson to pass, wide open, over the middle. Chase Clement. And Clement goes up and over to the 45-yard line, taken down by A.J. Jones. But Todd Jefferson having some success over the middle with the tight end.
He's reading the defense. This was a zone blitz, and they voided that zone area. And Jordan Jefferson saw it. He read it quickly and hit his tight end for a big completion. 2 guys blitzed from that area, and nobody got over to cover that zone, and Jefferson did the right thing.
Ridley comes back in. Fresh set of downs for the Tigers. Jefferson gets a quick strike to Terrence Tolliver. So a good start for Jordan Jefferson. Remember last week against Tennessee on the bench after going 3 for 10.
And he's confident right now. I mean, that was an audible at the line of scrimmage. It may have been a check with me and had 2 plays. That ball got tipped, but had enough juice on it to get to Tolliver.
Todd, a lot of folks have been critical of him for being indecisive, holding on to the ball too long, but
doesn't look like that right
tonight.
now.
3 for 4, 56 yards. To pass on 2nd and 1.
Same play to the other side. What he's seeing is an 8-man front, which is extra defenders in around the line of scrimmage anticipating run, and he's checking to a sprint out pass. The first time it was complete to the right. This time, same play to the left. It's incomplete.
Off the hands of Tolliver that time. Some pressure being applied by A.J. Jones, and Jarrett Lee waiting his turn. Had the majority of the success with the game-winning drive last week against Tennessee. Completed a big 4th down play to keep that drive alive, but right now Jefferson off to a good start. 3rd and 1. Ridley, 1st down. Good surge by Stephen Ridley. College football fans, time to put your college on the map. You can build your own campus from scratch with ESPNU College Town. Find your school, pick buildings, recruit players. You can even challenge your friends across the country to see whose program is #1. Go to bethedean.com to start playing.
I like the way this guy runs the football. I mean, he doesn't mess around, dance very much. He gets low, good balance, and he runs physical.
Gets the call again. That time taken down just after a minimal gain.
It's funny, last year when we covered LSU, he started out the year like the 15th tailback, and they kept getting guys hurt, and pretty soon he was the only guy they had that could run, that was healthy, and he really seized that opportunity to be the feature back, and now he not only is their starting tailback, but he's leading the SEC in rushing.
Fast and powerful. 3 times this year he's gone over 100 yards already. Looks like the right tackle may have moved.
Well, again, Jay Howard moved first. And now whether or not they will interpret that he drew the movement from LSU or not, I think this one's going to go against the Tigers.
Snap, false start, number 72 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
That's Alex Hurst, 6'6", 330. They call him Clyde, as in Clydesdale. He's that big.
Yeah, see, Howard moves first, and then Hurst moves second. But I guess Howard didn't move enough. Wasn't that far into the neutral zone.
So it backs him up to a 2nd and 13 as Ridley remains the lone back with Jefferson out of the gun. And Ridley just bottled up there. Jay Howard was in there, as was Justin Tratto.
Now, last week we mentioned LSU, the best offensive output of the season, 434 yards, but they only managed 16 points. They scored on the first play of the game, the last play of the game, and one of the problems was penalties. They had 9 penalties, and 7 of them were on their offense, and penalties just like that set them back behind the chains and brings up tough situations like this 3rd down and 12.
They bookended those scores against Tennessee. Everything in between, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
3rd and 12. Jefferson, here comes pressure. Intercepted. Jelani Jenkins takes it all the way back inside the 20-yard line. First mistake of the night for Jordan Jefferson, and it was costly.
Florida leads the country in interceptions. That's their 13th. Here's the interceptor. Jordan Jefferson never sees him. All he's looking at is his man crossing the field. He knows pressure's coming. He never saw Jenkins, and he threw it right into his chest.
Good pressure from Matt Elam that time, the true freshman strong safety coming in, disrupting things. And then Jelani Jenkins.
We mentioned the penalties as we look at a player being attended to. Matt Elam The penalties were one problem, and turnovers. They had 4 turnovers last week, and Jordan Jefferson with a couple interceptions. That's his 7th interception now on the season.
So the turnover for Florida will take a break. LSU up a field goal. The SEC on ESPN. Joe Tessitore, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe with you. And Todd, look who's already on the phone.
Yeah. Well, he was due to come in the 3rd series anyway. The 2nd series just ended a little sooner than anybody thought it would.
Jared Lee talking things over as Jefferson threw the pick, and now Florida looking to cash in. Brantley sets it up to Burton. And Burton wrapped up immediately that time. Good defensive play by Shepard.
See, now the question for Florida, they already come into the game still kind of searching for an offensive identity, still trying to figure out who their playmakers are. So you don't have Demps, and Brantley is injured. We don't know how seriously. Who's going to step up and make some plays for this Gator offense? That's the big question right now.
Brantley looks over to the sideline here on 2nd and 11. Gillislee joins him in the backfield. Swings it out to Gillislee. Wide open space in front. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Gators as Claiborne was able to ride him out. Let's take a look at how Florida's doing in the red zone, brought to you by Verizon.
Well, before last week, they were doing great. I mean, at one point they had scored 15 consecutive possessions and 14 touchdowns, but last week against Alabama, that was part of their undoing. 1 for 4, all they had was a field goal, and they had a couple of turnovers down there deep in Alabama territory. And to try to beat a team like Alabama on the road, you can't be that inefficient in the red zone.
Timeout, Florida. That's their 2nd timeout of the half.
So Trey Burton, the true freshman who's had a lot of success early this year. Will we see him down here towards the goal line? Stay with us to find out. Now, Florida handed LSU its first loss of the season each of the last 2 years. A week ago, Florida suffered their first loss of the season, and they struggled down near the goal line against Alabama.
And they played both quarterbacks, John Brantley and Trey Burton. Burton is more the running guy, does some different things, but the key one in there was this interception. That was on the initial possession. Florida roved all the way down the field and threw an interception. Burton did on 4th down.
Trey Burton is the quarterback. Brantley is split out wide. And Burton goes ahead to just inside the 5-yard line. Nevis, the big 6'2", 285-pound senior, was right on top of him.
Burton can throw the football. I mean, he's thrown a 42-yard touchdown pass this season. He is the backup quarterback. So he's not just in there as a running back to run the Wildcat. I mean, he can throw it if the play calls for it.
Brantley once again split out wide. Gillislee fighting for that goal line, and they're going to mark him just short. Thought they had a 6 here, did the fans.
It's a nice job by Burton, securing the handoff and keeping it with the dive back Gillislee and not pulling it to keep himself. He held it as long as he could. Drake Nevis was right in his lap, and he did a nice job of getting the ball to Gillislee.
See the final seconds of the first quarter ticking down here. Jordan Reed lining up at Wildcat, but they will not get it off. They'll have time to talk things over. It'll be 3rd and goal when we start the 2nd. Florida knocking on the door, looking to crash on through and take the lead. Stay with us.
Find a way to wash away any regret you have. Don't let this moment pass. Live inside this place.
LSU field goal, the only scoring in the first quarter. Florida looking to get off to a good start down in the red zone here. The big story, of course, today, South Carolina upsetting #1 Alabama by a 2-touchdown margin. Alshon Jeffrey, Todd, he is such a dangerous weapon at wide receiver.
He's big. He's got great hands. A very difficult matchup.
The head ball coach. They were able to get things done inside the red zone. Now Florida looking to do the same. Jordan Reed. Reed stacked up and then fights his way in. A good second effort from Jordan Reed as Kelvin Shepherd came up to meet him, and Reed overpowered him.
If that was Trey Burton, maybe Shepherd stands him up and drops him short of the goal line. But Jordan Reed's 20 pounds bigger than Trey Burton.
Chaz Henry tacks on the extra point. So the Gators take a 7-zip lead thanks to Jordan Reed.
We knew that he was going to play, and they wanted a bigger guy running down by the goal line. This was all second effort by Jordan Reed. 6'3", 240 pounds. He wasn't in on his initial contact, but he kept fighting and got the ball across, and that is exactly what Urban Meyer said he needed. They needed to get a bigger guy down there. They needed to score touchdowns when they got in the red zone, and he got him a touchdown.
Yeah, I laughed because when we met with Coach Meyer yesterday, he sat down, we said, well, what's the key? Having some inconsistencies on offense here. He said, It's pretty simple. Guys just need to score.
Yeah.
Found a way with a tight end there.
Well, you know, Trey Burton did a nice job in his couple plays, but Jordan Reed, we knew he was going to play. He's a bigger body. He's a big athletic guy, and that second effort got him in the end zone. And so right now, again, we said, who's going to step up and make some plays for Florida? Jeff Demps is not playing. Right now, Jordan Reed stepped up and made a nice run on third down.
Of course, this is life after Tebow here, so having that big quarterback that can plow the way through, it's been a key part to Florida's success through the years. And Jordan Reed goes 6'3", 240. A redshirt freshman from Little New London, Connecticut. Not exactly a football power up there on the Connecticut shoreline, but Jordan Reed is a special athlete.
And remember, the drive was set up by the interception in the short field for the Gator offense.
Peterson and Brooks back deep. And here he goes, Patrick Peterson. He's taken down at the 23. Let's check in with Reese.
Joe, time for a Taco Bell studio update. Game going on over on ESPN2. Cam Newton and Auburn against Kentucky. Newton with his second running touchdown of the game. And Auburn, after falling behind 7-0, up 14-7 early in the second quarter.
Thanks, Reese. Of course, Cam Newton started his career right here in Gainesville.
Jarrett Lee is in, not because Jordan Jefferson threw the interception, but it's the third possession. And that's when Gary Crowton said that he wanted Lee to first enter the ball game.
Gets it to Shepherd, just floated it over the middle. And Shepherd with an 11-yard gain.
Wow, nice little play. Kind of a difficult play to execute on your first play in the game.
That ball was hanging there for a while. That was just lingering there in midair.
Florida anticipating run on that first play, and Jarrett Lee got his first completion.
Jefferson drove them down the field for a field goal and then threw the pick to Jenkins. Lee, pressure up the middle, and gets it complete to the running back Spencer Ware, who fights his way to the 40. The true freshman from Cincinnati, Spencer Ware.
I really like Jarrett Lee's release. He's got a very quick release. The only thing that gets him in trouble sometimes is he throws backing up or not getting his feet set. Now that time he had to get away from Jay Howard, but that's where he gets in trouble and gets a little erratic when he throws it, when he doesn't set his feet. But when he sets his feet, he can really throw the football.
Ware splits to the slot as Ford stays in the backfield with Lee. And he gets the call. And he gets a first down and a lot more. Michael Ford. Not often used in their rotation, but they go 4 deep at running back, and he serves them well.
Well, Florida anticipating pass with the passing quarterback. They get up the field with the pass rush. Jay Howard came up the field, and nobody closed on the inside run. And a nice job by Ford keeping his balance and turning it into a big game. Explosive plays. Runs over 10, passes over 20. Critical in a game like this.
Ford only had 22 yards on the year. That was a 25-yarder alone. Lee quickly gets it out to Ware. And he is taken down by Ahmad Black. Jared Lee's got the offense moving a bit here, Tom.
He really, he played last week for the first significant action in almost 2 years. He threw it 23 times, completed 16, 185 yards, did not throw a touchdown, but he got the team down the field on that game-winning drive and in position to win the football game.
Ridley back in. And Ridley to the 27-yard line. Janoris Jenkins, the cornerback, came up to make the tackle on the big running back Ridley.
That's power football right there. That's what Les Miles loves to see. The former offensive lineman, started out his career as an offensive line coach, and he likes that power football. Hard-nosed, run the football, particularly on the road. It has a tendency to take some steam out of a defense and also out of a crowd.
And it's a big crowd and a vocal crowd, especially in spots like this, 3rd and 2. Ridley trying to fight for it, and he spins and gets it. Jenkins did come up and wrap him up, but Ridley, the bigger guy, able to power on through.
See, he's close to 230 pounds, and so you're not going to bring him down with arm tackles. And he's not a fancy runner. He's not going to try to make you miss. He's not going to try to sprint outside and get around you. He's going to try to run through you, and he's going to run through most arm tackles in short yardage situations like that.
Solid guy is Ridley. Very consistent runner for the Tigers, an offense that's trying to find consistency. Gets the call again, and look at that, just bulling his way for another first down to the 13-yard line. Finally stopped by Will Hill.
What a beautiful run. Watch his eyes. He sees a crease, and then watch him plant his foot and come right back inside. Instead of taking it too far outside on that run, he saw the end closing, saw a gap right up behind the center, and turned it into a nice game.
Ridley cannot spin free that time as Teron Sanders got a beat on him. Big 300-pounder Bradenton. Ridley will come out and take a blow. Ford comes back in. Remember, he ripped off that 25-yard run.
One thing that LSU likes a lot in the red zone are wide receiver screens, quick throws to the wide receivers, and get the other guys blocking out in front.
Lee sprinting, now looking back. That ball is batted down. Teron Sanders, 2 good plays by Sanders.
Yeah, they tried to throw a wide receiver screen off of a throwback. They sprinted the quarterback to the right and tried to throw it back and set up a screen on the other side, but Sanders was able to get his hands on the football. Watch him come around the outside, times his jump, and almost creates another interception for the Gators.
Not bad jumps for a 309-pounder. Huh? Sanders comes off for 3rd and 11. They run it. And how about that? Ridley dives forward, close to that line to make.
See, when you have a power runner, they're a little short, I think, but when you have a power runner and your offensive line is feeling confident and you're going against a nickel defense, there's more smaller guys in there. There's less big linemen, and there's more linebackers and defensive backs. So you have the ability to run the football.
His right knee, did his right knee come down before that line to make? Because they spot it as now a 4th and 1. And Les Miles says, we're here to win. Jefferson, the quarterback, keeps it himself. And he's got it. And more, in fact, reaches all the way out and comes up just short of the goal line. So they wasted no time in sending Jefferson out with a jumbo package.
Well, and that was just great push by the front offensive line of LSU. Watch the push. And Jordan Jefferson's thinking, I just need to get about a half a yard, but if they're not going to take me down, I'll just keep pushing.
Todd, you know, I don't know that his knee ever touches the ground. He's laying on bodies as he reaches out across that goal line. Ridley. And he comes up short. Jay Howard brought down Ridley, but you go back to that play by Jefferson, and boy, that could have been reviewed for potentially a touchdown.
Well, and every play is reviewed in college football. I'm a little surprised they didn't buzz down and stop the action to take a look at it. Here it is again. Jefferson is keep pushing. He's pushing. I don't know that his knee ever touched the ground and he reached the ball out. But nonetheless, it's 2nd down and 1 for LSU.
Confusion. Jefferson makes the most of it. So it all comes full circle. Last week, confusion caused controversy all week long. This time, Jefferson able to make something of it.
Well, credit Jordan Jefferson. Here's a goal line play. Let's take ourselves 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, turn around, and then run to the other side and score anyway. And they deserve it because he was in on that 1st down play.
Gave that hesitation as if to say, where am I? And then burst for the goal line. Jasper puts it through. Jordan Jefferson, the 1-yard run. A little shake and bake, and then the dive in. And Les Miles says, that away. Jordan Jefferson just put the Tigers up 10-7. Holly?
Well, when Jordan Jefferson jogged to the sideline after that touchdown, his head coach met him, and Les Miles, the first thing he said, what happened? That was actually a busted play, guys. Jefferson looked down at his wristband, talked to the coach about it. I did see him talking to number 88, Chase Clement, as if that was part of the mix-up, but Jordan Jefferson made the most of that broken play.
Did he ever?
Yeah, you're taught. I mean, if you miss a handoff or something like that, don't go outside. Go right back where the play was supposed to go or close to it and see if you can make something out of it.
Jasper to kick, and DeBose and Clark back deep for the Gators. Here's DeBose from the 6.
We'll go back to this touchdown. Now, LSU knows it's a broken play, but Florida doesn't. Now, watch, after the fake, right here, these 2 defenders of Florida, they think it's a naked bootleg, so they're going to widen out, and Jefferson sees it and puts his foot in the ground and goes right back inside for the touchdown. I mean, Florida thought it was a bootleg. Jordan Jefferson knew it was a broken play, but he made a great decision and got a touchdown.
So back comes John Brantley. I told you, dealing with injuries tonight. Cracked ribs, the broken thumb. Trailing by 3. Pressure. Escapes it for a moment, and then tackled by Nevis for a sack. Let's check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Joe, SportsCenter right now brought to you by Discover. The nation's longest winning streak comes to an end. South Carolina beats Alabama 35-21. Tide's first regular season loss since 2007. Steven Garcia with outstanding 3 touchdown tosses to Alshon Jeffrey. And also the American League Division Series, Rays and Rangers now 4-2 in the 9th. 2 outs here. Carl Crawford hit a home run to give Tampa Bay the edge and tried to keep them in the series.
All right, Reese. Moody trying to get free. Able to gain a few yards as Kelvin Shepard was tracking him every way.
Nice job by Shepard making a play in space. You know, you hear that a lot. Can a defender make a play in space? He gets out there 1-and-1. He's kind of on an island. He's used to playing in around the line of scrimmage. And he kept good body position and balance and made a tackle for a short gain.
Smart, fast, the vocal leader of the defense is Shepard. 3rd and 12 now. Pressure again. And Brantley just able to get it out for the incompletion.
Yeah, I think what John Chavis, the defensive coordinator, is thinking right now is, look, we can cover these wide receivers man-to-man. And so let's pressure this quarterback. He's not a runner. He's not a real threat to get outside of us. Let's bring a lot of bodies at him and see if we can tattoo him a little bit and put him on the ground.
That was LeVar Edwards who came in with the pressure that time. Patrick Peterson back deep. Oh, he fumbles the ball. Peterson could not hold on to it. Florida football. Ahmad Black on special teams.
Urban Meyer was really disappointed with this punt team last week. This is a perfect punt, first of all, by Henry. Right on the numbers. They had coverage down in there to circle Peterson, and Peterson lost his concentration, but it was a high kick, and it was right in the perfect spot where the coverage was running to, and Peterson unable to field the ball clean.
So Chaz Henry fist pumping all the way down the field as the Gators offense comes back out for more business.
Another short field after the turnover for the Gator offense.
Play action. And the pressure once again from the front four of LSU all over Brantley. LeVar Edwards and Nevis in there against him.
This defense is faster than they were a year ago. That's why they're getting to the quarterback better. They got some young, fast guys, and they got Nevis, who is a complete disruptor on the inside. Very seldom do you see a defensive tackle who leads your team in sacks, but he is very explosive and very disruptive.
Backs him up to a 2nd and 18. Empty backfield.
Oh, they better cover the outside receiver.
There's a high snap. Complete over the middle. Able to get it to Deontay Thompson. Down to the 11. The line to make is the 6. Here's that snap from Mike Pouncey.
A little high and a little hard, but Brantley able to field it. And then stays in there and makes a nice throw. And when you catch a shotgun snap, the first thing you got to do is kind of flip that ball and get the laces where you want them to make the throw. Nice job by Brantley there.
3rd and 5. Pressure. They pick it up to the end zone. Flag comes in. Andre DeBose. Covered by Jai Eugene. And the flag reined in.
Well, I don't know how that was at all catchable.
Pass interference. Number 4 on the defense. That penalty will be enforced at the 2-yard line. 1st and goal.
Well, a costly turnover gave Florida great position, and now a costly penalty, but that ball was well over the head of the intended receiver and out of the field of play.
Trey Burton now in at quarterback. Burton stretches ahead to the 1-yard line as Ryan Baker was quick to wrap him up. Burton, a true freshman, who broke Tim Tebow's record for touchdowns in a game. That happened against Kentucky. He had 6. Does it every which way, Todd. He'll line up anywhere on this offense.
Yeah, he's got really good hands. That's why you see him as a wide receiver, a tight end, catches the ball out of the fullback position.
Well, they went to that guy before, Jordan Reed, in a spot like this. Burton right through. And starting quarterback John Brantley was in on that play, but it was Burton who found the hole.
Does a nice job of being patient with the fake and then pulling it out and getting it into the end zone.
Eugene had the pass interference. Henry tacks it on. So a couple of turnovers turn into 14 points for Florida. The long shot Heisman candidate couldn't hold on. Florida got it back and punched it in. 14-10, Gators back out in front.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Hyundai. Your view of the world looks better when you drive a car that does everything better, like the Hyundai Genesis. And Sprint, the Now Network.
Time for our Aflac trivia question. Now, they got some great Heisman history here at Florida. Florida's had 3 quarterbacks to win the Heisman Trophy. Of course, most recently Tebow. Which school has had more? That is the question, as the officials are going to corral these players who kicked off a little early. Phillips will be kicking to Patrick Peterson, who fumbled that punt moments ago that led to the score for the Gators. Star cornerback who's been a sensation on special teams, and then all of a sudden coughed it up. You know, we spent time with him yesterday, Todd. What did he say? He said, my dad taught me it's like catching an egg. You want to let it come in nice and soft.
Yeah.
Well, that egg cracked on him, didn't it?
It hit the ground and cracked. It got all over his shoes.
Peterson fakes the reverse to Shepard. Out across the 20. Now looks to reverse field, but is cut down to the 33. Let's look at our Chick-fil-A drive recap for the last time LSU was out there on offense.
Well, Jarrett Lee came in. It was his possession. Did a nice job of spreading the football around. A couple nice runs in there. This one by Michael Ford was the biggest gainer. And then Jordan Jefferson came in as the goal line quarterback, and on a busted play, turned it into 6 points. And that put LSU in front momentarily.
Revolving door at the quarterback position as Jordan Jefferson is now back in. Play action. Gonna run it himself.
Now, you say revolving door, but again, it's working for LSU. I'm not a big fan of 2 quarterback systems the way they're doing it. I mean, because I just don't like it as a former quarterback. But it works because these 2 guys are handling it right. They're managing it right. They're different enough in their styles and their strengths that it forces the defense to prepare for a lot of different stuff. And neither one of them is trying to force the action too much. Now, Jefferson did throw the pick, but he's played pretty well.
Ridley will be about a yard and a half short of that first down. Well, we talked about it all week. It's really where Florida having the multiple quarterbacks is an identity, the Tebow League model. With LSU, it's really a necessity. It's what gives them the best chance to win.
Right, and I don't think that they would want to do this if one of those 2 guys would really step up and seize the job, but that hasn't happened. And so they're trying to make the best of it. And again, they are 5-0, and last week was their best offensive output, and they're gaining yards tonight.
The pitch to Ridley. He needed a yard. He barely got back to the original line of scrimmage. Janoris Jenkins came up from the defensive backfield and stuck Ridley. Saw some pressure there also by Omar Hunter.
Yeah, Omar Hunter was able to get great penetration and come from the backside of the play and get around the legs.
First 3 and out by LSU. Eric Hilton will come on. Janoris Jenkins will back up inside his 15. From the 10. Jenkins with space. The punter to beat. And out to midfield. So Florida will have good field position again. Spencer Ware.
Well, you know what? Janoris Jenkins just made a dumb move. He had a tremendous return, spiked the ball on the LSU sidelines, and that's going to push him back behind the 50-yard line. Just uncalled for after the great return.
Had a great return, and now this.
It was a low kick. It was a low driving kick that had good distance, but not enough height, and Jenkins was able to make a huge return. And they almost had another short field. Remember the turnovers. Florida's 2 touchdown drives tonight were 17 yards and 16 yards.
Illegal block in the back. Number 26 on the receiving team. That'll be a 10-yard penalty. Then there was a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on number 1 of the receiving team. That'll be half the distance to the goal. First and 10.
Now, the one penalty was against Lorenzo Edwards, and that's got to drive Urban Meyer crazy. It was a 36-yard return, and they're going to be back all the way up when we return.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on the Wendy's halftime report, the Tide takes a tumble as number 1 goes down in Columbia against South Carolina. Several rivalries renewed. We'll show you how Michigan State did something they haven't done since the 60s. And the Dogs finally find a way to get it done against Tennessee. Mark and Lou join me. Plenty of highlights and analysis coming up at halftime, Joe.
Reese, we look forward to it. Janoris Jenkins probably isn't looking forward to the talking he's going to get come meetings with Urban Meyer this week, because the 2 penalties on what was a good return back him up 41 yards, Todd.
Yeah, they were out by midfield. Now they're inside their 5. And LSU, a huge break, and their defense gets to play now with better field position.
And Jordan Reed at quarterback. And he cannot escape that front 4 again. That time it was Pepper Livingston. All right, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. You know the Heisman history with quarterbacks here at Florida. They had 3. Which school has more?
Timeout. LSU. That's
Notre Dame.
timeout of the half.
And it all started back in 1943 with Angelo Bertelli. And as we get a timeout here, you know, I marvel, you go back to those days, Todd, of course, the war era, 1943 with Bertelli. And this is week 6 of the college football season. He led Notre Dame to a 6-0 record at this point of the year. Then he was called up to active duty in the Marines. And that was it for his season. Went on to win the Heisman Trophy.
One of our staff members go out of their way to make your visit great.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's interesting, too, as a couple of those early Heisman Trophy winners at Notre Dame were running kind of single wing stuff, and that's back in vogue now. When a lot of these quarterback run offenses, that's just throwback stuff.
So Florida up 14-10 here, 2:45 before the half. Been an interesting first half, seen a little bit of everything, some costly turnovers for LSU, but yet some sustained drives, which has not been the norm for LSU this season.
Reset the clock to 2 minutes, 47 seconds. 2:47.
They found a little something last week in their offense and moving the ball and getting some drives together. And then they've got it going again tonight. Just from a pure offense and defense standpoint, LSU has dominated the first half. But the 2 turnovers have been killers because they both led to easy, short touchdown drives for Florida.
And now Brantley back in at quarterback for the Gators. Going to run option. And Gillisley flies forward to the 8-yard line. LeVar Edwards was able to take him down. We'll take a break. Gators up by 4. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. We've got a good one here at the Swamp. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series will be in California this week in the Pepsi Max 400. ESPN tomorrow at 3 Eastern. Jimmy Johnson, 4-time champ, your current points leader. John Brantley, battered and bruised this week, limited in practice, facing a 3rd and 7 here. They send pressure. Wow. Do they ever? Wow. And they're going to mark him just outside the goal line as Kelvin Shepard was looking for the safety, but they just unloaded on Brantley.
Well, they brought pressure again. This is the right formula because Brantley's not going to beat them as a scrambler or a runner. 3rd down pass situations, come after him.
That was the 3rd sack of the night by LSU, but that was like a tsunami just coming in on Brantley.
Good use of LSU using their timeouts to save some time and force the punt.
Takes a bounce inside the 40. Les Miles, of course, took the national title in 07. Such a tough week for him in terms of some of the criticism coming off that confused ending against Tennessee. But, boy, numbers are numbers.
Yeah, I mean, those are active guys that have been coaching since he started at LSU in 2005. He's in very good company. There's one other guy that can't be on that list because he didn't start till 2006. That's Chris Peterson at Boise State. He's got 53 wins and 2 BCS Bowl wins. But Les Miles has been very successful as the LSU head man.
Prime field position. Ridley. Just a gain of 1.
Now, one thing we've already seen in this game is the 2-minute offense that LSU runs. The quarterback is Jarrett Lee. When they get in goal line and short yardage, Jordan Jefferson is the quarterback. And that was part of the problem and confusion in the game last week.
Lee connects. And look at this as Tolliver gets free. Touchdown, LSU. He took Janoris Jenkins for a ride. 38-yard touchdown reception as Terrence Tolliver just muscled his way those last 5 yards.
What a great job by Jarrett Lee, knowing there was an unblocked guy coming at him, but he showed great poise in holding on to the football.
Todd, this is a downright offensive explosion for LSU.
LSU looks good. Both quarterbacks are doing their thing. Justin Tratto, number 94, is going to come unblocked. Watch him come off the edge. And Jarrett Lee knows he's unblocked, but he knows he can hold it a little longer to make this quick throw. He hangs in there, he steps into the throw, and then poor tackling on the back end by the Gators, and an easy touchdown for LSU. They were going into a hurry-up offense, trying to conserve time, and all they needed was one play. You don't need to manage the clock when you score in one play.
Another look at Tolliver. You know, it's funny. The experts talking about this game all week. There was a tone of derision in terms of what the offenses were. You're going to get a 10-7 game.
Yeah.
This is our 4th lead change of the quarter.
Well, and again, LSU has looked more impressive tonight to me because they've driven the football. Now, that was a one play, but they have way more yards than Florida because they've had to drive the ball, and they've had a nice blend of run-pass. Gary Croton's calling an outstanding game. Jordan Jefferson and Jarrett Lee are sharing the quarterback's position very responsibly, and they're both contributing to this offensive success in the first half.
203 total yards for LSU to Florida's 48. Of course, they've had the short field. DeBose from the 1. And Andre DeBose is stacked up at the 25 by Daniel Graff. Chris Berman hosts ESPN's 2-hour Sunday NFL pregame show. Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN. Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Of course, all the latest updates bring you around the stadiums around the league right up until kickoff. There are the offensive numbers that we were detailing. You see the second quarter output by LSU. 38 yards of it striking gold with Tolliver. Brantley going to test him deep. And he overthrows Frankie Hammond Jr.
I mentioned this a little bit earlier, Joe. The problem for Florida tonight is your quarterback's a little banged up, but he's not showing any real ill signs of it. But your best playmaker is on the sidelines, and Jeff Demps. So you are limited in the playmakers out there on the field. And what LSU is, how they've read this is, look, we're not afraid of any of their wideouts. We can play man-to-man, and when they go to pass, we're going to bring extra bodies and trust our man coverage and try to get after the quarterback who's not a runner.
This time they keep it on the ground with Moody, and Emmanuel Moody.
Ball's out.
Ball comes out.
Yeah, it came out.
Let's see who's got it.
That was Tyrann Mathieu, number 14,
LSU,
who ripped the ball out. He came from behind, and he intentionally went for the football. This young guy, this freshman out of New Orleans, is a playmaker.
He really is.
That's his 3rd forced fumble of the season. And that, I mean, he intentionally went for the football. Watch number 14 from behind. Doesn't go for the tackle, goes for the strip, gets the ball out, and then he recovers it as well.
Full service.
Yeah.
Cornerback there is Tyrann Mathieu. They love this kid. True freshman from New Orleans. 2.5 sacks on the year. 3 forced fumbles now. And now with 1:04 to go.
I'm a little surprised Jefferson is in the game, though, because this is more the 2-minute offense steal.
He's going to run it. Jordan Jefferson. And he's got 10 yards and a first down as the clock goes under a minute to go in the half. Justin Trotto was able to corral him eventually. They got a timeout left, Todd.
Yeah, they got one. What you want to try to save as long as you can for your kicker. I mean, worst case scenario now, you want to get in field goal range and come away with 3 more points.
Jefferson going to tuck it and run again. And just slides down to the 20, so they have plenty of time. They're in field goal range for the steady Josh Jasper, and a chance to take a couple strikes.
2 nice runs by Jordan Jefferson. One by design and one on a scramble. And he's got him in field goal range.
Murphy in the backfield with him. Pressure off the edge, gets it to Shepard. And that'll be marked at the 21 in that clock.
Yeah, that's a bad play because now you got to decide, do we want to use our timeout? Because he caught it and went right to the ground, you're losing valuable time.
It would have been better off with an incompletion there.
Exactly.
Always comes down to clock management with the Mad Hatter, doesn't it?
Now they'll call timeout and kick a field goal. And there's nothing wrong with this on the road. You want to take the last points. You're going to let the clock go down. Looked like Les was signaling 3 seconds, and then they're going to call timeout and kick a field goal.
We'll take a break. When we come back, Josh Jasper going to look to put it through. Stay with us.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
2 seconds to go in the half here. LSU used that timeout. Try to set up the field goal attempt by Josh Jasper.
And again, LSU chose to go with Jordan Jefferson in that possession, and it was more a run-oriented possession than it was a wide-open pass. And they played a little more conservatively and went for the field goal here.
Jasper made one from 44 earlier, this from 39. And it sneaks through. So the first half comes to an end with LSU taking advantage of the fumble by Moody. The true freshman Tyrann Mathieu made a smart play, stripped it, jumped on it, and then Jordan Jefferson brought them down the field, and they get the field goal. Holly.
Coach, what has to change for your offense to get more momentum right now?
Well, a lot. We got to start controlling the line of scrimmage, and we can't turn the ball over. But we're just not playing well, obviously.
What condition is Jonathan Brantley in?
He's fine. I think he's a little banged up, but he's fine. We just got to do a better job protecting him.
And running the football, that's a big problem. You said get a block better, but what else can you do?
We got to just keep them off balance because they're pretty good up front, but we got to keep them off balance.
Some people are reporting that John's thumb is broken, Coach. Is it?
John Brantley?
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
No, thanks.
So Coach refutes that report. They want to run the ball better. Jeff Demps unable to go tonight. 20-14 LSU. Now time for the Wendy's halftime report with Reese.
You're watching ESPN, new home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Let's go, let's go. Get up, sing it like a screaming. Get out of the way, let's go, show me what you got.
We welcome you back to the Swamp, where ESPN's college football is presented by Hampton Hotels. LSU up 20-14. Joe Tessitore, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe with you. And Todd, look at those rush yards by the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been total domination by LSU in the first half. And if it wasn't for the 2 turnovers, the interception and the fumble punt, Florida wouldn't even be in this football game.
No, Florida with a chance to get back in it here on the opening drive. The Bows from the 7. Will shake and bake and then taken down at the 21. So more offense than we expected out of LSU. In terms of Florida on the other side of things, that front four, the rush that they're getting against John Brantley, a big factor.
I think that's probably the most alarming thing, and what was probably discussed the most in the locker room for Florida, because Steve Adazio, the offensive coordinator, told us this offensive line he thinks is the best that they've had since he's been here. Well, they got manhandled by Drake Nevis in that defensive front, and they've got to find some answers for that. They've got to find some playmakers, but first of all, they better take care of the line of scrimmage a little bit better.
Brantley quickly gets it to Gillislee. And Gillislee stiff arms his way close to a first down.
The other thing Florida's got to do, it'll help the line and help John Brantley, is to incorporate some quick throws just like that. Get the ball out of his hands as we see Gillislee limping off the field again. He's been bothered by an ankle injury. Demp's already out of the game. Gillislee a little banged up on that play.
So Moody now flanking Brantley. Checks with the line. Option to the top side. Here's Moody. Block out in front, the first down. And then he'll carve his way out to the 38 as a flag comes in.
Holding, number 76 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Second down.
So the holding on the left tackle will bring him back. If you were with us earlier, then you heard the report as ESPN's Joe Shad reporting that Brantley is playing with 4 cracked ribs and a broken thumb. But Urban Meyer refutes that claim and says he's fine. I think in Urban's eyes, hey, you're out there playing, you're fine.
Well, and I'll tell you what, it'd be hard to throw the football if you had a broken thumb. And John Brantley doesn't seem to be bothered throwing the football. He's more bothered by the pressure that LSU's defense is putting on him than any injury to his thumb.
To pass on 2nd and 11. And this is complete to the 27-yard line to Carl Moore.
Now, I had questions about this LSU defense, if they were really as good as their numbers suggested, because they haven't played the best offensive teams in the SEC. But they're legit. I mean, they can really get after the passer, and they can cover.
3rd and 6. Moody. And he is wrapped up right away. Flag came in, but Tyrann Mathieu, boy, is he a player. Let's see what the flag is. Maybe a personal foul here.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 13 on the defense, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
It's Ron Brooks.
Well, you don't like the penalty because it wipes out a really good defensive play, but you don't mind putting another big hit on the quarterback either.
Now, if you have 4 cracked ribs, that's not going to do well for you. He's getting a talking to. So a fresh set of downs for the Gators. High snap. Moody gets the handoff and steams ahead to the 44 as Ryan Baker was there to meet him.
Well, LSU's defensive front has really been the difference in the game so far. I mean, they obviously have the speed to run sideline to sideline, but it starts up front. And pressure on the quarterback was a big part of the first half. Doing a great job defending the run, and they came at John Brantley from a lot of different angles. Once they realized that they could lock down the receivers, they really went after the quarterback and held this Florida offense to 65 yards in the first half and averaged only 3 yards per play.
4 receivers to the near side here on 2nd down. Moody. Emmanuel Moody is trying to get that first down yardage, but Carnell Hatcher came up and met him. See where the mark is. 6-yard reception from the former USC running back who transferred here to Gainesville. Big number 92, Drake Nevis. He's played a big role in this game so far, disrupting things in the center.
Now, what Florida might be setting up here, because they've thrown a couple of these quick throws to the running back, is a fake on one of those and try to go deep and try to get a big chunk play. Again, explosive plays against good defenses are critical, and Florida in the first half only had 2. One run over 10 yards, one pass over 20 yards. That's not enough to win a game like this.
Just short. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, Mike Gillislee is getting stretched out behind the Florida bench. It looks like a cramping issue, but bad news for their right guard. John Jalapeno has been taken to the hospital with a compound fracture of his hand. Guys, he is obviously out for the game for Florida.
And he's an offensive lineman who they felt was really coming on. Gillislee's been nursing an ankle sprain, and now you see him stretching out on the sideline there. Demps we haven't seen all night long, so we'll get a dose of Emmanuel Moody in the backfield. 3rd and inches here. Burton. First down and a lot more. Looking for the block out in front. And he's inside the 40 is the true freshman, Trey Burton.
Well, most of the runs have come inside. This time he's going to kind of fake inside and then bounce it to the perimeter. Watch him coming inside, then bounce it out. And they outflank the LSU defense on that 3rd and short.
This time they keep it on the inside as Burton gave it off to Moody.
You know, one of the other issues with the injury that Holly was reporting to Jalapeno is that he was in part of a rotation. You know, and the depth issue now is going to be affected with Florida's offense. That means Maurice Hurt is going to have to play the rest of the game at right guard. Xavier Nixon's going to have to play the rest of the game at right tackle. And in a game like this, you want to try to rotate bodies because defensive linemen are rotating, and they're trying to keep those guys fresh. It'll be a little tougher for Florida here in the second half.
What a defensive line that is for the Tigers. Burton shaken free and picks up the first down. Carnell Hatcher corralled him. But now you see, as Burton stays in for a few plays, what he can offer up.
This is a design quarterback run. This was not a read option because they pulled a guy to kick out the man that you would normally read on an option and then led through with another lineman. It's a quarterback counter. One guy kicks out, one lineman leads through, and Burton just becomes a running back in that situation.
Now Burton's in the huddle, but so is John Brantley. So Burton will split out to the near side as Brantley will work out of the gun here. First down. Over the middle and overthrew Deontay Thompson.
Well, there was pressure right in on Brantley, got right by his feet, and he wasn't able to step through this throw. I think it might have been Nevis again, who has just been unbelievable in this game so far.
Nevis was there. Kendrick Adams was able to get in there.
Watch number 92 get right to the quarterback's feet, and Brantley's not able to step into the throw.
He's a terror on the inside as Drake Nevis. Burton going to hand it off to Moody. Trying to get to that edge. Cuts back and just gains a couple.
And see, that's the difference without Jeff Demps. I mean, Moody's is a fine running back, but he doesn't have that speed to get to the perimeter on a play like that and turn it upfield and make it a big game or even get to the end zone. Demps has that kind of speed, and he's a national champion sprinter who's out with the foot injury right now.
So 3rd and 7. Empty backfield for Brantley. They pick up the pressure this time, and he gets it complete for a first down. Carl Moore secures it down at the 6-yard line, and Florida now with a chance to take the lead. 14-yard reception that time.
Well, it was Nevis again who just keeps fighting on the inside and got into the legs again, but not before Brantley was able to step into the throw that time and get the completion.
Burton now in that red zone. They like the true freshman. Here he goes. Got past that one would-be tackler and tries to inch his way down to the 1-yard line. Ryan Baker finally got to Burton.
A very impressive drive to start the second half for the Gators. Very workmanlike. Not a lot of flashy plays. Some runs by Burton, a couple key throws by Brantley.
Exactly what they need, Todd. Second and goal now. Moody, flag comes in as Moody came up short of the goal line.
Well, where that flag came in, it's either holding or a face mask. I couldn't see on the tackle, but it's thrown right in the area where holding occurs or a face mask.
Holding, number 55 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
That's Mike Pouncey. You know the struggles he's had with snaps, and now the penalty goes against him when they were knocking on the door.
Well, he's got a guy lined up right over his nose, and he just turns him. I mean, it's a good play by him, but he got his hands on the outside, and when he turned him, that's what the official saw. I mean, Mike Pouncey's a powerful blocker, and Adazio calls him a mauler, just like his brother was. He wants to try to bury you when he blocks you, and that time he just got his hands outside.
He's a 6'4", 310-pound bulldozer of a man. Backs him up outside the 11 as Steve Shaw's crew is throwing a lot of hankies out there tonight, Todd.
Well, Florida tried to call a timeout, but I don't know if they got away.
Substitution violation on the offense, breaking the huddle with 12 men. That'll be a 5-yard penalty, second down.
Yeah, they tried to call a timeout, but they had already broken the huddle with too many guys, and the officials were on it and made the right call.
Urban, of course, prides himself on execution.
Florida, that's their first timeout of the half.
And they will take a timeout. Here's what happened.
Yeah, the guy who was trying to get off was Stephen Wilkes, the fullback, this is his first game action and has not played. They're really high on him, but was not supposed to be in the play on that particular formation.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series going to rev up in California. Pepsi Max 400. ESPN tomorrow at 3 Eastern. So Florida had a second and goal at the 1. See Jimmy Johnson. Talk about these teams being consecutive winners in the SEC through most of the decade. Boy, Jimmy Johnson just continues his stretch of dominance. Up by 8 points as the chase continues. Florida had a second and goal at the 1, but Todd now backed up to a second and goal at the 16, which does that take them out of the Trey Burton role, and you get John Brantley again?
Yeah, I think it takes him a little bit out of the role of him taking the snap, but he'll still be in the field because he's a very valuable receiver coming from a wing or a slot. And here he is right here. That's Trey Burton. So now he's as a fullback or a tight end H-back position.
And here he goes as they set up the screen to him, and he is wrapped up right away at the 15-yard line. And that was a good sound play by Kelvin Shepard. Always around the ball, it seems, Shepard is.
He's very smart. You know, last year he played all 3 linebacker positions for John Chavis. So you got to be very, very bright to do that. This year he's kind of locked in on the middle linebacker spot. Very active, leading tackler on the team.
And this is a 3rd and goal from the 15. Brantley, that was batted down and almost intercepted. Barkevius Mingo got a piece of that ball.
It was a zone blitz, and what that means, there was a guy coming from the secondary, and Mingo was dropping into coverage, and he just got his hands up. He was watching the quarterback the whole way and was able to deflect the pass.
And then Brandon Taylor trying to get after it, but instead Chaz Henry will come on and attempt a 32-yarder. Another flag comes in as this is off to the right.
Number 95 on the defense. That penalty will be half the distance to the goal. Remains 4th down.
Kind of unusual to see a holding call on a field goal attempt unless LSU is trying to hold a guy and open a gap for a possible block attempt. Very unusual to see that.
So Jazz Henry will get a second chance. Caleb Sturgis, the starting kicker, is out with a back injury. Henry's the star punter who has double duties. This now from 25.
That was a bad snap again.
It was a low snap. Yep. He missed it to the right on the first attempt. He gets a second chance. He misses it to the left.
Yeah,
as Chris Guido.
The snap was low, and Crowfoot had to try to adjust it, and it threw off the timing, and back-to-back missed field goal attempts for Florida.
And a missed opportunity for Urban's team. Unbeaten LSU up 6 in the Gators' home field. Let's look at that two-headed quarterback monster of the Tigers, Todd.
Well, it's working. Again, Jefferson with 25 snaps, Jarrett Lee with 12. You see the rush yards for Jordan Jefferson. He's thrown the ball better tonight. And Jarrett Lee, when he's been in there, has been effective throwing the football. So that combination has worked just like it did last week.
Jefferson, a gain of about 2. Check in with Reese.
Joe, very quietly, Utah remains unbeaten on the road at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa against Iowa State. This is Reggie Dunn. They only credit him for a 100-yard kickoff return. What about 105? Went across the field, too. Utah smashing Iowa State. About to go to the 4th. It's 58-20.
Under the radar, a top 10 team, if you can beat one. Jefferson to Shepard. And he's able to scoot forward for only about a yard as A.J. Jones was quick to get to Russell Shepard.
It's a very important time frame right now for Florida. Their defense has got to rise up and make some plays. They didn't get very many stops outside of the turnover in that first half. And they've got to rise up here on 3rd down and get a 3-and-out out of this LSU offense. Get their offense back on the field again and get the crowd back in it.
The decibel level is sure rising up here at the Swamp. Third and 7. Tolliver. First down and a good burst out to the 38-yard line where Ahmad Black finally got to him.
What a beautiful job by Jordan Jefferson. He saw the corner blitz coming. Janoris Jenkins, number 1, is coming, and he saw it all the way. Stood in there and threw right out to the voided area, and then a missed tackle by Will Hill. And Tolliver gets the first down, but it was the quick recognition by Jordan Jefferson that made that play.
So back to the I formation on first down. And Ridley will get the call, and he leaps over. And Janoris Jenkins was able to finally get to him. But Stephen Ridley, that hard-charging style of his, Todd.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he runs north-south. He's not tricky. He's not fancy. He follows his blockers, and he runs in a very physical way. And you've got to bring something to get him on the ground.
Jenkins just got a piece of that leg. He was going Edwin Moses. Ridley again. Straight up the middle. Justin Trotto able to wrap his arms around him.
It's about 57, 58 yards now for Ridley. Now think about this. Last week, Florida played against Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson of Alabama. They held Ingram to 47 yards on 12 carries and Richardson to 63 yards. 2 of the very best in the country, not just in the league. And right now, Ridley right up there having a good night.
Came in this week number 1 in the SEC in rushing. And he gets the first down here and another lowering of the shoulder to gain extra yardage. A flag came in across midfield.
Holding, number 88 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat third down.
It's the extra tight end.
Yeah.
Play them all.
And that changes the situation quite a bit from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 11. This play clock was going down almost to 2. And Jefferson's, he wants to make sure he had the right play. You know, they had the mix up down on the goal line, and it was a busted play on a 3rd and 1, and he scored. That time he took a late peek and made the right play.
So it brings him back. 3rd down now. He's looking to pass. And he goes down. Jonathan Bostic and a gang of the orange-clad Gators able to find Jefferson.
Well, that penalty was huge. I mean, 3rd and 1, they make it easily. They back them up to 3rd and 6. It gives the edge to Florida. They bring pressure, and they get to the quarterback. And now they have to punt.
So help will come on to punt. And Janoris Jenkins back deep for the Gators. And this goes out.
What do you think? You up?
So Florida will have the ball. Look how close they came here.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Dr. Pepper. There's nothing like a pepper. And Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty.
LSU trying to stay unbeaten. Tough place to try to do so here at the Swamp. Joe Tessitore alongside Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe. And I'm here tonight because Brad Nessler is being inducted into the Broadcast Hall of Fame back in his native Minnesota. And on behalf of the entire crew, just want to send along our congratulations to one of the very best our profession has seen through the years. Congratulations, Brad.
Well deserved.
Brantley able to connect with Jordan Reed.
Well, we saw Jordan Jefferson do this the last possession. John Brantley does the same thing. He's going to read the corner blitz, and he's not going to panic. He sees the blitz, he plants his foot, and he throws right into the area where the blitz came from. Big receiver in Jordan Reed working on the safety, and a nice play for the Gators.
And Trey Burton now lining up at quarterback, as is Mike Gillislee, who was injured earlier.
Busted play.
It is indeed. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Joe, over on ESPN2, Auburn and Kentucky. Tigers seemingly have been in control, but Mike Hartline finds Randall Cobb, and all of a sudden, maybe the Joker's wild. Old Joker Phillips has his team within 7, 31-24, midway through the 3rd.
Crazy day in the SEC, becoming a wide-open race. We woke up this morning, everybody thought it was all about Bama, but how things can change. We got an LSU Tiger down. We will take a break as they tend to Ryan Baker. Patrick Peterson, who many view as the best cornerback in college football, left the field moments ago while we were away. So LSU will be minus their lockdown corner here against the Gators offense. Eldon Shepard, of course, leading the charge of those linebackers. Empty backfield on 2nd and 11 for John Brantley.
You know, with Peterson out now, this is Jai Eugene, who is really a safety, who is lined up as a corner on the outside right now. And if the Florida coaches are in tune to the fact that Peterson's not there, they may want to take a shot at him right now.
He's number 4. Pressure off the edge. Batted up in the air and intercepted. Claiborne with the pickoff. Morris Claiborne inside the 40. Peterson or no Peterson, they get the job done.
Kendrick Adams is the guy, number 94, who comes around on a stunt, gets his hands on the ball, This has happened a couple of times. They've been close to an interception off the deflection. That time, Kendrick Adams is going to get the ball. Watch number 94 come on an outside stunt and get the hands on the football. Can't get to the quarterback, but he can affect the pass. Well, now the turnovers are even.
And now Jarrett Lee is playing quarterback for the Tigers. Here's Ridley. Ridley to the 34. Stopped by Brandon Hicks. Jarrett Lee had success in the first half. Now gets an opportunity with good field position here. And Ridley, just a minimal gain. Ahmad Black in on the tackle there. Holly, what can you tell us about Peterson?
Patrick Peterson is one of several LSU players that are suffering from cramps right now, guys. At that last time out, there were 4 different guys being stretched out over here on the sideline due to cramps. I talked with the athletic trainer, Jack Marucci, and he said, you know, even though it's not a super hot night right now, it is a little muggy, but sometimes the intensity of the game can cause that. Guys, even just a 2% dehydration can lead to cramping sometimes.
Can't undersell the intensity here at the Swamp. 3rd and 6 now. Lee has time, has his man, a first down. Peterson down to the 22-yard line. Jenkins finally got to the tight end, D'Angelo Peterson.
It was a nice call and a nice job to do it. They ran a blitz. Peterson came in motion to the other side of the formation and then released quickly out in the flat. It was a quick target for Jarrett Lee on that 3rd down play.
Jarrett Lee has been in control, commanding this offense when he's had the opportunity to. Jefferson's been solid enough tonight as well. Now Ridley bounces it to the outside. And a gain of 9 for the junior running back.
You know, right now, I think LSU has to be thinking touchdown. They've got momentum. The way their defense is playing, they get another touchdown here, they're going to put a lot of pressure on Florida's offense. If they get conservative and settle for a field goal, it's not as good. I mean, they're up by 6 right now. A touchdown will put them up 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. They've got the momentum to go for it right here.
Ridley, first down to the 10.
Handoff to Stephen Ridley.
And their star defensive back is back. Patrick Peterson comes back out to join his teammates. Remember, this drive by LSU set up by a Morris Claiborne interception. So Lee brings them down to the 10. And now in at quarterback is Jordan Jefferson. This is par for the course. Red zone, Jefferson.
Quarterback run an option for sure with him in this part of the field.
Here he goes. And he gets inside the 5-yard line before Jenkins made the stop on him.
I tell you, they had success with it last week, playing the 2 quarterbacks. It was the first extensive action Jarrett Lee had since 2008. And it's worked even better tonight. I mean, they are really in sync with what they want each guy doing.
Look at Les Miles barking it up. He knows they're on the verge as the 4th quarter will start when we return.
Touch that track, it turns into gold. Yes, it turns to gold. Everybody knows I got the magic in me. I got the magic, babe.
Glad you're with us for the SEC on ESPN. Entertaining evening here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. You see no scoring in the 3rd, but LSU can open up this 4th with a bang. Already up 6. Trying to go to 6-0.
Omar Hunter trying to guess the snap count. Came across way too early.
Before the snap, offside, number 99 on the defense, half the distance to the goal, remains second down.
This is a case of a guy not really listening to the snap count, just trying to guess, trying to make a play, anticipating, and change the dynamics. Because now Florida had to go with their goal line defense against the jumbo package of LSU.
Seldom used Michael Ford, the lone back for the Tigers. He takes the pitch. And he is cut down at the 3-yard line by Duke Lemons.
See, I don't know why you don't have Ridley in for that play. I mean, Michael Ford was kind of tiptoeing a little bit towards the goal line. Ridley's going to lower his shoulder and take that thing in.
Ford just 2 rushes on the night, came in with only 5 on the year. Ridley, number 1 in the SEC in rushing. 3rd and goal now as they crank up the volume at the Swamp.
LSU, that's their first time out of the half.
Jordan Jefferson wants to compose himself a bit and talk things over with the Mad Hatter. 3rd and goal when we return. How about that? Auburn trying to escape Lexington. The SEC standings, could it be at the end of all this LSU and Les Miles are the only ones unbeaten? 3rd and goal. Jefferson.
Got in.
Touchdown, Tigers.
Well, I thought with Ridley on the sidelines, it would be a quarterback run because he's your best runner, and your second best runner right now is Jordan Jefferson. Fake the dive, and he does a nice job of getting it in.
And with it right now, a 12-point margin. Jordan Jefferson will stay on the field for the 2-point attempt. Try to push this to 14.
Putting the ball on the left hash, which would suggest some kind of action to the right, give Jordan Jefferson a run-pass option. Watch for D'Angelo Peterson, number 19. That's him right here.
Wide receiver James Wright in the backfield with him. Never had a chance. So it'll remain a 12-point margin as Cody Riggs was able to tackle Jefferson.
17 to go in the game. LSU 26.
Time now for another edition of Todd's Taste of the Town.
5 men in the backfield on the other one.
Steve Satchel Ray is an artist who just happens to love making pizzas. He first learned the secrets to making a great pie as a 16-year-old growing up in Jacksonville. He worked in a restaurant owned by Bruno and Sylvana Santioni. 7.5 years ago, he opened his own very unique spot on Gainesville's east side, serving, quite simply, one incredible salad, calzones, and, of course, pizza.
Delicious.
So good. That's a great looking place. Of course, Todd's Taste of the Town brought to you by Expedia. The pizza artist.
Yep. Solid, thanks, solid.
May have heard the penalty there as we were getting ready to show you Todd's Taste of the Town. And didn't factor into things as the 2-point attempt failed. But what didn't fail was Jordan Jefferson taking that offense in. And now Urban's squad is in a hole.
And that touchdown was huge. I mentioned they needed to really be aggressive and go for a touchdown because of the way their defense has pretty much handled Florida's offense tonight. They've not given up very many big plays. They've put pressure on John Brantley. And now they've got a 12-point lead.
Now Florida could use some instant offense. See what the Bows and Clark can do and setting up a return. The Bows from the 12. Has a seam. Here he goes. Kickoff return for a touchdown from Andre DeBose. Just what they needed. Jazz Henry's extra point. We got a 5-point margin just when LSU had put this game to a place where the nice cushion was there to coast home for a win. Here comes DeBose.
Well, it started with a short kick. He fielded it on the 15, and then poor discipline in the coverage lanes by LSU. And Florida, who struggled to find a playmaker with their offense, gets a play out of their special teams. DeBose, the redshirt freshman out of Sanford, Florida, does a great job getting to the sideline and turning in a big play on special teams. Could not have come, as you mentioned, at a better time for Florida, because offensively, they've not been able to make explosive plays against this LSU defense. But they get one in the kicking game.
Les Miles has been watching Patrick Peterson provide fireworks in the kicking game all year long. But now Urban Meyer's special teams comes up big, and now Peterson will take his turn. Remember, cramped up earlier, left the field, went back to the trainer, and now back to action is Patrick Peterson. Brad Phillips to kick. And the swamp filled with hope again now. Peterson from the 5. Ridden down at the 30. Ahmad Black playing special teams and playing it well tonight. Jarrett Lee and that LSU offense. What can they offer up? Got an injured player. That is D. Finley, special teamer. So after no scoring in the third, back and forth they go here in the fourth. We will take a break. Florida pulls back within 5.
ESPN's College Football Prime Time is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Headliners on Monday Night Football this week. How about this showdown? Randy Moss back with the Vikes. Of course, Brett Favre going back to New York, taking on the Jets. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served by Applebee's. We got a loud swamp here in Gainesville. Ridley. Minimal gain that time as Jelani Jenkins wrapped him up.
Well, because of that kick return, I mean, LSU really can't go conservative. They can't think about milking the clock. They can't think about just sitting on the football. They've got to stay with their pedal to the metal, whichever quarterback's in the game, because what was a 12-point game a minute ago is now a 5-point game.
Jarrett Lee now backs up into the gun with Ridley. They're going to work the running back. Not much there. A.J. Jones quick to get to Ridley.
See, the difference with that play when Jarrett Lee's in the game is the Florida defense knows Ridley's going to get it. Jarrett Lee's not going to pull that. He's not a threat to keep it and hurt us as a runner the way Jefferson is. So those lanes compress when Jarrett Lee's in and they run that same running play. It's a different deal.
And now a 3rd and 7 for that LSU offense to stay out on the field.
Florida showed their hand a little early here on the blitz.
Here they come. is going to be short by 1.5 yards. Jelani Jenkins and that Florida defense, Duke Lemons, out to do their task, and they did it. So Helton on the punt. Janoris Jenkins back at his 15. He's taken down immediately at the 17. Well, let's see what Satchel cooked up for Todd in the Taste of the Town.
Satchel is known for his deep dish pizza. Now, the dough is first put in a pan and buttered and allowed to rise for several hours, depending on the weather. Next, it's partially baked for 10 minutes to create a golden brown crust, buttered again, then loaded up with sauce, cheese, whatever toppings you choose, and another layer of cheese. Baked for 30 minutes in a 500-degree oven, then cooled, cut, and served. Now that is a piece of art.
Florida looking for an artistic offensive display here, but they don't get what Gillis say. All right, now, my favorite part of working with you this week is tell the folks how many times you ate at Satchel's.
Well, actually, I got to say 4. I mean, you only know 3, but I brought 2 pieces home last night, had them in my microwave at the hotel before I came to the game here. So, yeah, Thursday, I had to check it out at the Scout. Friday, we went and did the segment, and then it was so good we went back Friday night. I had to take the rest of the guys in.
Oh, it was great. Last night I was over there with you. We had the steak and carrots. Steak and carrots pizza. Who could ever think that?
Well, you know, Satchel's an artist, and every pizza is a work of art. And, what a great place.
Brantley on second down, and he gets it complete just over the 20-yard line to Thompson. So we will have a big third down coming up as we have Thompson slow to get up. Let's watch the hit here at the end of this play.
Well, this is a physical game now. These are 2 physical football teams, and Thompson fighting for extra yardage, unable to protect himself, and took a shot in the back. Again, you know, the thing with Florida's offense, everything looks hard. You know, there's been years where Florida's offense, it was flashy and big plays and everything flowed. There's not a lot of flow to their offense tonight. They're hanging in there, they're fighting, they're scrapping, they're gaining some yards bit by bit, but it's not coming in big chunks. It's coming in little pieces.
So a big spot for Brantley as Burton is not in. Moody flanks him in the backfield on 3rd and 6. He has time, wants it downfield, and that ball is incomplete as Hines tried to make a play on it. That'll bring up 4th down. Matthew had the coverage on Hines.
Pretty good throw by Brantley. If he can catch it right away, it's a catch, but he bobbles it with his right hand, and by the time he secured it, he was out of bounds.
Ruben Randall will be returning punts now as Peterson not playing special teams here with 10 minutes to go in the game. And Randall secures it, something Peterson didn't do earlier tonight when he fumbled. 5-point game, LSU's ball when we return to the Swamp. Stay with us.
You're watching ESPN, new home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Florida has handed LSU its first loss of the season in each of the last 2 years. LSU was up 26-14 here in the 4th. Then an 88-yard kickoff return by Andre DeBose, and they have closed the gap.
You know, not just did they give them their first loss, but it really sent LSU's season southward in both cases. In 2008, they were undefeated, and they finished 8-5. Last year, they were 5-0, lost to Florida at home, and finished 9-4. This is a huge game psychologically for LSU.
Ridley, not much happening there. Taken down by Trotto. Reese.
Joe, SportsCenter right now brought to you by Discover. The #1 team in the land goes down. South Carolina takes care of Alabama 35-21. Steven Garcia to Alshon Jeffrey on 3 separate occasions. The signature win of Spurrier's career at South Carolina. Baseball scores. Yankees beating up on the Twins again 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th. Rays keep that series alive by beating the Rangers 6-3.
Thanks, Reese. Jefferson was taken down by Sanders.
Right now, what Terrell Austin, the defensive coordinator at Florida, is counting on is that LSU is going to try to protect this lead. It doesn't matter which quarterback's in. They're not going to throw the football down the field. So what he's electing to do is really crowd the line of scrimmage with extra bodies and expecting a run and playing man-to-man coverage on the outside.
And now they get themselves in a 3rd and 8. Sprinting to the near side. Randall hauls it in. Cuts back to midfield. A first down and looking for more. Settles in at the 46. Ruben Randall.
And this is all because of Jordan Jefferson's ability to get outside of the pocket by design, keep his eyes downfield, and keep a play alive. I mean, he could only throw to one side of the field, and Randall was able to stay with it and separate from his man and get the catch.
Jefferson just lofted it in for a 29-yard gain there to Randall, his first catch of the game, and it comes at a critical time. Ridley, nothing doing there against Big J. Howard. Boy, Jordan Jefferson, Todd, you watch him a week ago. Think about some of the plays he's come up with tonight.
Yeah, playing with confidence. You know, he's throwing the ball with confidence. He's checking at the line of scrimmage with confidence. He's turning broken plays into touchdowns. And he's the guy you got to worry about. You know, Jarrett Lee's just thrilled to be playing and back in the mix. Jordan Jefferson's the starting quarterback. You got to worry how he handles that. What's his confidence like? He's been great tonight.
Pulls it back from Shepard. Play action. Going to go downfield looking for Ruben again. And that was almost picked off by Janoris Jenkins. He threw into the coverage there.
That was not a good decision because his man wasn't open and he threw that ball too far inside. And Janoris Jenkins came from the safety position and almost was there for the interception.
Jeremy Brown was with him stride for stride, and Jenkins came over.
See, they don't need points necessarily right here. I mean, points would be great, but they really don't need a turnover. They got to take care of the football. They've already flipped the field position because of the big play a moment ago.
Looking over at the tight ends who wind up in the slot. A little confusion again.
Timeout, LSU.
Jefferson was jawing with Peterson. He said, we better take a break here for 3rd and 9. It's a big one. Combined, Jefferson and Lee have made a productive night of the quarterback position for the Tigers.
Yeah, they really have. And outside of that one early interception by Jordan Jefferson, pretty mistake-free. They've taken care of the ball, and they've done what they do best. Jordan Jefferson running the football, Jarrett Lee passing the football. And right now with a big 3rd down play coming up.
3rd and 9. Jefferson took a lot of time and then went and put it over the head of Peterson, his streaking tight end.
He had a shot at it. Peterson had a step on Jonathan Bostic, the middle linebacker. And Jefferson waited as long as he could, but just a little too far on the throw.
And now the script will play out exactly the way Florida wants it to. With a chance. Just over 8 minutes to go, trailing by 5 and set to get the ball. Jasper on to punt.
The pooch punter.
He's the starting place kicker. And it takes a bounce into the end zone. John Brantley with an opportunity. Let's go back and show you some of the key plays in terms of affecting the scoreboard. And that is Chaz Henry got a second chance with a penalty, but he missed both field goal attempts. And then when the score was 26-14, a 2-point try tie.
Yeah, both teams wish they had those points on the board right now. As it is, Florida needs a touchdown. They're 5 points down with 8 minutes to go in the game.
Play action for Brantley. Safety valve is Moody. And he just fights his way back to the line of scrimmage with Ryan Baker on top of him.
See, the fans are booing, but I don't think Steve Addazio and Urban Meyer have much choice because they don't have Jeff Demps in the game. They got Gillislee, who's bandaged up and banged up. They don't have a wide receiver that has gotten separation and has been able to make a big play down the field. Everything they're getting right now is kind of nickel and dime, hope to make some first downs, maybe sneak a play in there. But that's what they've got right now.
Trey Burton now. Just a gain of 2 for the freshman quarterback, their running quarterback. And here come the Boo Birds again, not taking a liking to the play calling. But as you said, some limited options and some circumstances to deal with for this offense.
Limited playmakers on the field. And then when they do try to throw something pretty far down the field and hold on to the ball, LSU's pressure has gotten to John Brantley. Now, the line has done a better job in the second half, no question, than they did in the first half.
So 3rd and 8 for Brantley. Plenty of time. And a first down, Carl Moore. Here goes Carl Moore. Finally tracked down inside the 30 by Ron Brooks. The Gators come alive here.
Watch Carl Moore at the very end get separation right there from Morris Claiborne. And Brantley, with good protection, stuck it right on his number. And then the missed tackle. And Carl Moore does what he does, converts on 3rd down. And this one, a huge one for the Gators.
He's their money man. On keeping him on the field, Carl Moore is a 6'4" target, a senior from California. He just went for 51 yards.
They nickel dime, hope to get a big play, and they finally got one from Carl Moore.
Burton in at quarterback now. Gillislee gets the call. And it just goes for a couple of yards. It has been a roller coaster kind of night for John Brantley and Urban Meyer. Meyer's been dealing with injuries all week long. Demps a no-go as his starting running back. Brantley, the report we got was 4 cracked ribs and a broken thumb, but he has soldiered on tonight and now has his team in position to take the lead.
And what I see also is I see some very tired Florida offensive linemen. I mean, they're banging around in there. Again, they lost Jalapio early in the game. Matt Patchen is in street clothes, another lineman who's been injured. They're limited up front as well.
DeBose turns it upfield and has a first down. Remember, it was Andre DeBose who broke that kickoff return off for 88 yards to pull within 5, and now he sets them up again.
Haven't shown this yet today, just kind of a wide sweep by the wide receiver. Nice job blocking downfield. The other wideouts involved in the play. Carl Moore, you see at the end of the play there.
Some confusion by Moody whether he should be on the field or off the field with Gillislee in the backfield here on first down. And Brantley's going to call a timeout.
Timeout, Florida.
Now the frenzied nature of this rivalry. And it's a good one tonight. Florida looking to take the lead when we return. Well, it's been an outrageously entertaining college football Saturday, and this is the way to start off your NFL Sunday. Chris Berman hosts ESPN's 2-hour Sunday NFL pregame show, Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by IBM on ESPN Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. 4:50 to go. Florida, they were trailing 26-14, Todd, here in the 4th. The special teams paid off, and now a drive in which they're just kind of patchworking their offense, and you see the great lockdown corner, Patrick Peterson, being tended to.
That's bad news for LSU. At this part of the field, you want one of your leaders, and he is certainly one of their leaders on the defense.
Gillislee, wrapped up by Drake Nevis, the All-America candidate. at nose tackle. And once again, the crowd not liking the conservative play calling. But hey, listen, as we said, limited options here, dealing with a lot of injuries, and they are in position. Urban Meyer trying to overcome and bounce back that loss to Alabama a week ago. Reverse now. Hines into the end zone. A flag is down. Was it a block in the back? Omaris Hines scooted into the end zone, but we will wait on the call.
They like to run this play in the red zone, inside the 20-yard lines where they like it. They ran it last week as well for a big game.
Illegal block in the back. Number 85 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
It's Frankie Hammond Jr., fellow receiver, as Hines cut that corner. Tried to make that turn in.
And it was really at the end of the play. Well designed, perfect place to use the reverse. You get the defense, and here's Hammond, number 85. At the very end of the play, right there's the block in the back.
Unnecessary time.
Totally unnecessary. Here it is right here. I mean, he's going to score, whether he touches that guy or not.
At the very least, they would have had a first down. It would have been first and goal. Brantley now. He's going to run it himself. And he's going to come up 2 yards short as Kelvin Shepard came in and got to Brantley. Remember, Brantley is making plays like that with the rib injury and a thumb injury.
There's, you know, just you can slide, but you're still not going to completely protect yourself. You're going to take a shot. And he did at the end of that play.
So 3rd and 2. Burton, the quarterback. Can he get there? First down, Florida. Smart move by Burton to keep it himself and then dive ahead for the first down.
They hit Emmanuel Moody so quickly, I thought they might cause a fumble. I mean, Nevis crushed Moody, but Burton was able to get the ball out cleanly and get the first down.
Burton stays in with Gillislee. How about that? Back come the Gators. Mike Gillislee takes it in from 5 yards out. And Florida, with a 1-point lead, will elect to go for the 2-point try and try to make this a field goal margin.
Two really good plays in a row by Trey Burton, making the right decision on both plays.
So Brantley now comes in. They got it. Frankie Hammond Jr. Florida up by 3.
Well, the play before the touchdown, they tackled the back and Burton kept. This time they're going to tackle Burton, and he gives it to the back, and Gillislee gets into the end zone. That set up the 2-point conversion. Brantley on the roll. Frankie Hammond, who was the guy that was called for the penalty, makes up for it with the catch on the 2-point conversion. And the Gators are up by 3.
They trailed here in the 4th, 26-14. They got the instant burst by Andre DeBose on the 88-yard kickoff return. They played sound defense, had an opportunity, and then took advantage. Tonight's Good Hands play brought to you by Allstate.
Well, it was the biggest play of the game for him on offense. Carl Moore got separation, 51-yard catch. Prior to this play, the best play that Florida was able to manufacture on offense was 24 yards. They got 51 on that play, an explosive play when they absolutely had to have it, and they took the lead.
Ben Hill, Griffin Stadium, 132 straight sellouts dating back to '89.
I imagine this is going to be Jarrett Lee time now for LSU offensively with 3:21. Remember, both teams had to waste timeouts here in the second half. Both LSU and Florida only have one timeout apiece.
You got 90,000 plus absolutely rocking right now. Here's Claiborne. Morris Claiborne with a good return for the Tigers.
Gary Croton, the offensive coordinator, again under fire this week. He and Les Miles, and ultimately those two guys are accountable for clock management at the end of the game. Gary Croton calling the plays from up in the box. Les Miles very involved in the offense down on the field, and Jarrett Lee, who was the guy that engineered the game-winning drive a week ago, is on the field right now for LSU.
16-play drive a week ago that was the game-winning drive against Tennessee. Ridley, nothing doing at all, says A.J. Jones.
Florida guessed run, and they guessed right. They loaded up the line of scrimmage. They have more guys than LSU can block. And they were able to make a solid tackle, A.J. Jones, right at the line.
Lead a pass now. Tolliver shakes loose, cuts back, and gets out to the 45-yard line. Terrence Tolliver, he has had great yards after the catch
He's done that a couple times. Catches it, has great awareness where the defender's coming from, and then goes the other way. Watch, catch, plant, spin, creates a missed tackle by Jeremy Brown, and an easy first down.
Quick pass to Tolliver this time is incomplete, but a flag comes in late.
Late flag.
Janoris Jenkins had coverage on Tolliver.
Pass interference, number 1 on the defense. That penalty will be enforced at the spot of the foul. First down.
Now just to go over the situation here, and this is what Les Miles and Gary Croton are thinking about now as you watch this replay. They're down by 3. There's 2 minutes and 37 seconds left. They don't have to have a touchdown. A field goal can put the game in overtime, but they only have 1 timeout. So they really have to be smart with how they manage things here in the final 2.5 minutes.
And Josh Jasper, they have a phenomenal place kicker. Murphy. Senior Richard Murphy is taken down by Jonathan Bostic.
One of the reasons that Murphy is in there is the senior is the best at pass protection. He doesn't run the ball as much as Ridley, but he's an excellent pass protector. That's why he's in, and Ridley's on the sideline right now.
Anxious Tiger fans in a swamp. Murphy's going to be a yard short of the line to make. It'll make for a 3rd and short as LSU is getting close to that range.
Now, if you're LSU, you don't want to use a timeout here, but you don't want to fool around either. I mean, you want to have a little sense of urgency, get your play called, and not burn too much clock, because you still got a ways to go here.
Remember, all week long, Les Miles and Croton took criticism for the bungled time management. And now they're back in a spot like this. Ridley on 3rd and 1. He loses yardage. It's going to be a 4th down.
Now you may have to call your timeout.
A.J. Jones surging in with Ahmad Black. And now, Les Miles' decision to be made.
Last week they called a timeout before a 4th down and 9 play to make sure they were square, and they converted it. They're going to go ahead and try a field goal here at this point.
Josh Jasper to try to tie this game.
If I'm Florida, I'm playing safe and not let anything happen on a fake. Don't go for the kick. Just be aware of a fake.
52 yards to tie it here at the Swamp. They're officially marking it at 53.
Timeout, LSU. That's their final timeout of the game.
As LSU uses their final timeout time. The crazy plays through the years in 07 against Auburn. 10 seconds on the clock, trailing by 1. Instead of the kick, they win 30-24. Against Ole Miss, spike it, spike it, spike it. You can't spike it. They lose 25-23. And of course, last week against Tennessee, the controversy. Time was running out. Too many men on the field. It gave them an untimed play, and Ridley took it in. So through the years, this has been a constant theme with LSU and Les Miles of time management at the end of the game in these critical situations. And right now, he looks to turn it over to the leg of Josh Jasper as they talk things over.
Josh Jasper's long field goal of the year is 51. He missed from 54 last week at home against Tennessee. We saw him before the game. He definitely has the leg for this kid. But it's a whole lot of difference between kicking in pregame and kicking with 35 seconds left to send the game into overtime.
This will be for the tie. He has 3 field goals over 50 yards in his career. This from 53. It's a fake. They pitch it. Can you believe this?
Not only did they get it, but it was a bad flip. He had to catch it off the bounce, and now they've got to spike the ball. The clock will stop until they reset the chains, and they'll spike the football.
Josh Jasper, the place kicker, comes up with the critical run.
I said, if you're Florida, don't worry about the block. Be aware of a fake. The clock still hasn't started. There's 29 seconds. As soon as the referee moves away from the ball, they'll start the clock.
Well, they're going to look at this pass. Was it a legal play to begin with? Let's look at Derek Helton, the holder. Is it a forward pass and thus an incompletion, or is it a pitch? A lateral to Jasper. Tough to tell.
Well, either way, it shouldn't hit the ground. I mean, that's supposed to be one that he catches in the air and runs. And this will be interesting to see the call.
This will give you the angle. It looks like it is completely in line lateral with the holder. Do they have indisputable video evidence to say otherwise? Remember, the play on the field is a first down, LSU. They have to have the indisputable video evidence. They cannot make a judgment. It has to be indisputable that this was a forward pass to overturn it, not a lateral. You know, Todd, I just think about the week that Les Miles has had and the guts it takes for him to call that in a spot like that after this guy has been lambasted and criticized and mocked all week long.
Yeah, really a gutsy call. And you know, they've run that before, but it hasn't bounced on the ground. And it wasn't supposed to bounce on the ground that time. But what presence by Jasper to catch it and still keep his eyes up and make the run. But now it's in the hands of the officials.
Let's give you another look here. Is it a forward pass or a lateral? Remember, ruling on the field is first down, LSU. Look at that 43-yard line. From 43-yard line, was it to
I don't think
the
they can overturn
line?
that.
I don't think they can at all, Todd.
It's so close. I don't know how they can overturn the call on the field based on what we just saw.
How does Les Miles get himself into situations like this? The fact that this story would be written this way in the final moments after a week of nothing but talk of the crazed and confused ending against Tennessee.
Well, and again, now let's think of the situation. If this play stands, there's 29 seconds. LSU's out of timeouts. Jarrett Lee is the quarterback. And he is their 2-minute quarterback by choice. If they get inside the 10-yard line, then it's more Jordan Jefferson's territory. But right now, they're thinking field goal, and let's try to get to overtime.
Replay officials Doyle Jackson talking things over with Steve Shaw, the referee. They are taking a lot of time.
And they should. You know, they got to get this. This is a huge call.
Well, this is everything. The play that they're still reviewing happened 4 minutes ago.
You know, what's interesting is there was some question what they were going to do when the 4th down play. I thought they'd call timeout right away. I thought they were going to go for it on 4th down. Call timeout, make sure they got the play they want. They let it run down. They brought their field goal team on, and then they called a late timeout. Went over and talked about.
This is the look that they've requested. You be the judge. Did that ball leave the holder and land in a direct line and or behind that line to be a legal play? If the ball was in front of that line, it would be an incomplete forward pass. We are waiting on the verdict, which will determine the fate of this game. Right now, Florida trying to cling to a 3-point lead.
After review, the call on the field stands. It is a first down, LSU.
And LSU stays alive. 29 seconds, no timeouts.
Now,
officials over the bar.
As soon as they move away, the clock will start running. So LSU has to be ready to snap the ball. They should have had plenty of time to get their play called, what they want to do here. They can't stop it with a timeout. They can spike it, they can get it out of bounds, or they can throw incomplete.
Pressure on Lee. Gets rid of it. Here goes Tolliver. Inside the 5.
Now the clock will stop. Now, do you stay Jarrett Lee inside the 5? Spike the ball right here. This is what they didn't do last week. Spike the ball. Now, here's what they decide. Do they want Jordan Jefferson inside the 5 on this play, or do they keep Jarrett Lee in? You got to be careful. You can't run a running play here, Joe. You've got to throw it, and you've got a couple plays here. It's 2nd down. You've got time with 15 seconds to run 2 pass plays if you want. You can't take a sack, and you can't run and get stopped short of the goal line.
They said they worked on this all week long, time management, critical situations. Let's see the result of their work. Lee, the fade.
That's it. Oh.
Looking for Tolliver, 11 seconds remain.
See, they got time for another play. It's 3rd and goal. They're well in range of Jasper. They're in perfect position. You can't get sacked, and you can't get stopped. I thought they were going to call interference on that.
Now look at that left arm.
Yeah, draped all over Tolliver.
Here's your 3rd and goal. Lee going for it again.
Got him. Oh, my God.
Terrence Tolliver hauls it in. LSU takes the lead with 6 seconds to go. We need to take a look at this, though, Todd. Did he have possession?
The exact same play to the same spot. Does he secure the catch? I think he did. I think he just tried to move it away from the defender. I think it's a catch. I didn't see the ball bobble. He just moved it into his left hand. That wasn't a bobble.
The previous play is under further review.
The last last 10 minutes here should be broadcast on Court TV, not ESPN.
How about the call by Gary Croton?
Unbelievable.
They had the matchup. They went for it on second down. They don't get it. They go right back to the same guy, same place on the field, same matchup, and this time they connect.
But once again, we got to be judge and jury here.
Well, there's the foot in. He's got the ball. He just moved it to his left arm only. The ball never bobbled. He never bobbled it. It never left contact with his hands.
So now the replay official will decide again.
Both hands on it, foot down, and then he just moves it to his left hand only. That's a catch. That's a touchdown off a great throw.
Well, the good news for Tolliver and LSU and Les Miles is that the ruling on the field is the touchdown, just like the ruling on the field on the fake punt was in favor of them. So they would need that indisputable video evidence to overturn this, and it was tough to see there. You would think that would be more of a judgment call, not indisputable, to reverse that. But can you believe the drama?
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Terrence Tolliver.
Wow. Unreal.
It is unreal. Well, the plot twists that have taken place all week long, going back to that Tennessee wild ending. Les Miles, it was spin and damage control all week long. And then he gets right back in an even more dramatic situation, and they pull it off. The extra point is good to make it a 4-point margin. 10 plays and 62 yards. That included the Jasper 5-yard run on the fake field goal, and then Tolliver from Lee.
Third down on the goal line. They had time for 2 plays before they would kick a tying field goal. They took 2 shots at the same play and came through with the touchdown. And once again, Les Miles at the end of the game looks like the mad scientist genius. And Gary Croton, some redemption for him as well.
Starting running back Stephen Ridley was quoted this week as saying, "It's crazy how much negativity we have here in Baton Rouge right now based on last week." And then they do this. The fake field goal off the bounce that was reviewed as a lateral. Look at how close that was to being an incomplete forward pass. You can't make this stuff up when it comes to the Mad Hatter, can you? Les Miles. Time and time again.
Well, here's the bottom line with Les Miles, though. He's going to be 21-11 in his career at LSU against top 25 teams. He's 20-7 in games decided by 7 points or less. He's 41-4 in night games and 9-1 in night games away from home.
And he's 6 seconds away from being 6-0. Florida wants one last chance with 5 seconds to go. Outrageous finish to this game. What are we in store for in these last 5 seconds?
Well, LSU fans can remember a game against Kentucky where it wasn't over till it was completely over. So I'll guarantee you they'll play deep. I'll try to keep anything that is completed in front of them.
3-man rush against Brantley. And they got pressure on him. So he has to dump it short to Burton, and it falls incomplete. And there is a penalty marker down at the 40-yard line.
Well, there was a... Oh, boy. I'll let them...
Ineligible receiver downfield, number 57 on the offense. Penalty will be declined. Ball game's over.
LSU, in dramatic fashion, a 10-play drive that included the fake field goal and then the 3rd and goal fade to Tolliver. Pulls it off here in the swamp. Florida's gotten to him the past couple of years when they went unbeaten. Not now. The Tigers are 6-0.
A little bit of a respect factor here. They were undefeated, and they weren't ranked in the top 10. Not very common for an SEC team.
Holly's with Les Miles. Holly.
Well, Coach, what went through your mind when you decided to call that fake field goal attempt?
Well, we thought it was a chance for a score. I mean, we thought it was a chance for a touchdown. We didn't execute it just right. It gets us the first down, allows us to call some more plays. Certainly, it works out pretty well.
What lessons did you learn from last week that you were able to utilize tonight in that exact
I don't know
same
about
situation?
any lessons that I learned. The only thing I know about our football team is they are a fighting, tough, hard-nosed group of kids.
How stressful was it over on the sideline watching Jarrett Lee manage those last 2 possessions?
Well, it's always nicer to be ahead by 2 touchdowns and not worry about it. There's some stress involved, I promise.
Coach, what do you say about this team to come on the road after a very trying week and get a win like this?
Well, you know, they didn't like us too much when we were 5-0, and now we're 6-0, and I hope they like us a little better.
Okay, I have to ask this. Do you like the nickname the Mad Hatter? Because it's just going to get worse.
I understand something. It's the hat I wear. It's nothing mad underneath it.
But you know that's going to get worse this week. That was a great call, Coach. Thank you.
I suspect it will. Thank you, Alec.
You're
welcome.
What a 7 days it's been for Les Miles, and all he does is win. So the updated SEC standings. Alabama went down today. LSU, Todd, 4-0, 6-0 overall, came to the Swamp and pulled it off.
Sitting in good position. Auburn hung on and won, and so that sets up to be a real serious battle between those 2 teams later on in October.
Jarrett Lee finding Terrence Tolliver. What a thriller here in the Swamp. 33-29 LSU, 6-0. Coming up next will be Sports Center. For Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our entire crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. Thanks for being with us. LSU pulls it out. Sports Center is next. Enjoy the rest of your night.